I'm a stuntman. That's what I do for a living. But I was also a professional BMX bike rider. And so I'm always, riding skate parks and bikes, and I'm snowboarding and I'm skydiving.
Every Tuesday we have a meeting where all the doctors get together and they discuss all the new patients. I remember them talking about how beat up you were.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd gotten, like I said, toes, knees, ankles, hips, SI joints in my lower back. 170 million stem cells from here down every joint. I don't even remember the pain. It sounds so crazy. I've lived with pain for so long. I realized it's not just my body that feels better. My attitude is better. My outlook on life is better. My relationship with everyone else. My life is 100% different.
We're back, CPI Podcast. Mike Rooftop Escamilla, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm really good.
It's great to see you back down here. What are we fixing this time?
I'm going to get my some more of my knees because it was up so bone on bone. And so I've had good success. And when I'm doing stuff now, I can feel it. Like I can do the stuff I couldn't do before, but I still feel a little bit of, like pre-pain, but not pain.
Some inflammation?
Yeah, just like a little bit of like fatigue where there's no swell or anything afterwards. But I just figured if I can keep getting it farther and farther. They told me when I came originally that my knees would take multiple goes because of how bad they were. But I mean, if they were at 10% before, they're at like 60, 50% now, which is insane. Yeah. And so I'm like, let's do it.
I remember the first time he came down here, the doctors, every Tuesday we have a meeting where all the doctors get together and they discuss all the new patients. And so it's like a mastermind, collaborate on it. And I remember them talking about how beat up you were.
Really?
Yeah.
It is funny because I do feel like whenever I tell somebody, like I was coming down today with Max.
Yeah, Max.
And he was like, they're like, oh, what'd you get done the first time? And I was like, oh, toes, knees, ankles, hips, SI joints, back. And they were like, did you fall out of a plane?
You're like, as a matter of fact, I do fall out of planes. I was like,
it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But
not my plane.
No, yeah. But I do feel like I was more, as a whole, a mess than most people who come down.
And people, who beat up our bodies like we did, tend to have a lot of inflammation.
Yeah. So
sometimes post-injection after that first night, the pain levels, the stem cells really kick in because of all that inflammation. And I remember on your back, similar to Shane's, was a little bit slow going.
When I woke up from the procedure, and I had to get up to go to the bathroom, I'd gotten, like I said, toes, knees, ankles, hips, SI joints in my lower back, 20 some injections or something, right? 170 million stem cells from here down every joint. And I get it to move, and I just looked at the doctor and started laughing because I'm like, this can't be real, like what I'm feeling. But the wild thing was how gnarly it felt. It went away relatively quick. People ask what it felt like, and what it feels like is if you haven't done a workout in like a year, and then you do the hardest workout of your life, and it just every muscle is just like, oh God, but times 10, like hit by a truck.
That's how. Yeah, I always say I felt like I got run over.
Yeah, that's what you feel like.
But it
goes quick,
so fast,
and also the little bit of pain of like it's a different kind of pain than the pain I have. Like the pain I was having was like it didn't feel superficial. Where the other one feels like, oh, I had something done to me, so it hurts. It'll be better. That pain means nothing in comparison to what I was in. And now that I'm out of pain, today I filled out the sheet that you guys do a sheet that,
right.
Like how you were doing
data collection.
Yeah, data collection.
Yeah.
And there's one sheet that has all these things you can mark everyone that applies to you.
Right.
It's like 20 things. And when I first came, I think I marked more than half of them. Mm-hmm. And all I could mark on this one was NA.
Oh, that's amazing.
NA not needed, right?
That's so cool.
Like I had none of them applied to me anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah, because you and I both, I remember we talked, and pretty similar story of like, dark, evil thoughts of I'm in so much pain. Yeah. Like, is life worth being here?
I hate talking like that because it feels weak or something, and it's bullshit. That's a bullshit statement that I just made. But if I would have been in the same pain that I was in December 2022, now or even a year ago, I for surely would be. That would be a demon I would be fighting with, because you wake up every day like, this can't be what life is. And now, which is why I make so many videos. People are always like, why do you make so many videos, Mike? Are you like, you work for them or whatever? And that's why, because there's so many people in that pain and there's not enough information about it. And people need to know that there's help to be had out there if you're willing to listen and do what it takes, Yeah,
I mean, they're not the thoughts you want to act on, but especially when you're in a lot of pain, a lot of pain, when you start stringing together days where you can't get out of bed because you're in so much pain, you just start thinking like,
I was starting to have like this, like, you ever hear that, like, that noise they make in movies when someone gets like a gunshot goes off next to their head? It's like a ringing and everything's quiet. I was getting that, meaning everyone around me I was trying to mute everyone out because I was just focusing on the pain and breathing all day long. So I was like not hearing my family, not hearing my girlfriend, not hearing work, because I'm just like, shut up so I can do this. And it's terrible way to live.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's being out of pain, man. I was out of pain for 3 years and 3 months until I went up to Montana and trained with that Andy Stump guy up at his.
You told me.
And I tore my rotator cuff, but it's been like 2 months for this. I just got this one little spot left, and I couldn't pick it up over my head before without pop. So I'm 2 months in.
2 months in, and you got
90% of the pain's gone. I got full mobility back.
Wow. 2 months.
It's good. 2 months. Yeah. Well, one of the things that we're really starting to see, and you might have noticed this because you've been down here a few times, is that, the first time patients get stem cells, a lot of times they have this big reaction, right? They're foreign, right? Your body's like, what is this? What's going on? I feel like I just had this major accident. All of a sudden, 5 joints hurt at once, swelling and stuff, pressure. For me, because I've been doing these stem cells for a long time now, and I hear this a lot from returning patients. It's like your body knows what to do with them. And I don't have I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but like after I got my shoulder injected, beyond like the pain of, shoulders hurt because there's so much pressure and they're doing 3 different spots to get in there and it's a lot of cells, but it's almost like my body's like, oh yeah, we know what to do with these. Like, let's get to work.
When I came down for my checkup, I ended up getting my toes, knees, hips, and my neck done. Still a lot. And it was actually more stem cells than before, but I was in like 40% of the pain. You're right. When I woke up, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that your body, wants to heal.
Yeah, exactly.
It wants to heal. And I just think in this environment we live in now with this terrible food and Wi-Fi and all these things, everything you just packed into one, we're doing everything we can for the body to not do its job.
Right. It's exactly like what you said. It was just like, I had that pain the first night, second day, but like day 3, it was like, my body was like, oh yeah, thank you. Let's go. What I mean? It just started getting, I did my 2 weeks off of not doing much. And then I got like into physical therapy really quick. The guys over at Sports Performance got me in. I'm doing all these, rubber band stuff. And I didn't have one flare up. I haven't had a single flare up on
That's
it.
Awesome.
And it's just been the only time it's kind of been a little bit downhill is if I sleep bad on this side on the shoulder and it gets impinged back in. Yeah. And I got to get it back, you know.
But I think that's also that's to be expected, I think. You sleep on any injury, even ones that have years out before stem cells,
That's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
When you can get hurt sleeping.
Yeah.
Not riding the Suron, not riding the one wheel.
I once threw my back out brushing my teeth. And I went to go, and I was like, yep.
Multiple times sneezing.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I used to have to grab my knees and bend over every time I sneeze.
What's that? I'm one wet fart away from full paralysis. That's the funniest meme.
Oh man, that's bad stuff. So,
but I mean, I said this last time, but it's my life is 100% different. It always seems like a bit like we're on the CPI podcast,
right?
Talking about it, but it really, I I wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why would I I got to travel down. It's like a week of taking off my life for if it didn't work. But I try to tell other people too, it isn't just, I realize it's not just my body that feels better. Like my attitude is better. My outlook on life is better. My relationship with everyone else, my girlfriend, my kids, everyone, it's better because that pain becomes you. And you don't realize that pain is oozing out of every cell in your body towards everything you do. And for me, it's been like 100% turnaround.
I mean, 2 things after I hurt my shoulder was like, I had been out of pain over 3 years. I could not think, I don't remember the last time in my life, 27 years of jujitsu, pro snowboarding before that, came from the launch ramp era of skating and BMX,
Yeah.
Of never being in pain. And then when I hurt my shoulder, I was like, oh my God, this is so miserable, and it was nothing compared to what my back was,
Yeah, right.
Nothing.
But you forget.
Oh, I couldn't like do some things with this, I could even still fly my plane. It wasn't that bad,
Yeah. But you forget your body. I really think your body wants to heal and it wants to forget the pain, because when you, like you said, when you're out of pain and all of a sudden you're like, something hurts, you're like, this isn't right. But I think we just come from a generation, especially like that Generation X era of people who just sort of were raised to just accept their lot in life. And
I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah, exactly. Quiet. You know what I mean? Yeah, rub some dirt in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you've just learned to like, this is just what life is. And then when you don't have that, you're like, wow, this is what life is.
Yeah.
So,
being able to sleep is...
Dude, I when I came the first time, I'm literally almost to the day, 1 month out, I slept through the night for the first time in easily a decade.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm rest. It was like I had like an epiphany. I was like, oh, well, what is happening to my life here? I felt good. Like it really took about a month for me to go, wow, this is my new life. And then I had a job on a show called Old Man with Jeff Bridges, where I was a military guy. I had all this military gack sort of strapped to my chest, and I'm holding a gun. And it was 15. This is probably about in April or May, so about 4 months after. It was my first real job back, and I was like, we'll see how it goes. I was nervous to take jobs, but it was like 15-hour days of standing around all day with all this heavy gear on, and my back was like, about halfway through the week, my back's starting to hurt, and I'm like, well.
Fun while it lasted.
Fun while it lasted. That's what I thought. And then at the end of the week, I took all that stuff off, and within 24 hours, it was normal. That's awesome. And it wasn't that the stem cells didn't do the job. It was just, I was just regular old man shit. You know what I mean? You're just sore because any human would be sore doing that. And then after that, I was like, oh, I can get back to work now. And I meant in everything in my life, whether it be riding bikes or stunts or doing whatever, I can get back to it because this is my new life.
Yeah. And one thing, you're a big believer in the PEMF too. You do a lot of PEMF. So
yeah.
I always encourage people, I thought that thing was hocus pocus when I first found out about it. And then I started using it. And for me, pre-stem cells, that was the only thing that could temporarily get me out of pain. It wasn't a fix, but it would be enough to get me 4 or 5 hours at night to sleep.
Yeah. I've been using PEMF for it's been over a decade with Dr. G, who you may see, you'll see him with Cheeto Vera and all a bunch of guys that are always you can walk in there and it might be like a pro skater, a pro surfer, an MMA guy. They all been going to see him. I've been seeing him since the 90s. I would go in with a massive ankle and he'd put me on PEMF and the next day, no swelling all gone. Mm-hmm. So I'm a believer in it. After stem cells, my girlfriend had bought a machine because she had gotten injured a few months earlier. I lived on that thing, and I think that is the key to why I recovered exponentially better than I think other people do who don't worry about their aftercare. The aftercare is everything.
It is everything.
And I think when people come in and go like, oh, I haven't surfed, I haven't worked out in 2 weeks. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I tell people, pretend you have a broken leg. Pretend it's a broken leg and you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I tell everyone, because, I talk to a lot of people about stem cells. I tell everyone and I give them a number to a PEMF person. Your guys' PEMF person now. Because I tell them, spend the extra few $100 to rent it and just live on it. Because it makes a difference. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, aftercare is, it seems like this week all the returns everybody's doing, do any physical therapy? What'd you do? Oh, I didn't do anything. It's like, come on. If you broke your leg, if you had a massive knee surgery, you do rehab. You wouldn't be out a month later trying to do the same dumb stuff that got you hurt. I mean, maybe you would, some people, but like, come on.
You have to have, I mean, for someone, I've obviously been hurt a lot. For someone that you have to have a bit of discipline. When you break your arm, you're like, well, I can still do everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's why sometimes arm breaks are more frustrating than leg breaks, because you feel like you can do everything.
Yeah.
When you're at the stem cells, it's not like you're tied down. There's no cast on you. There's no, like, you feel like, I could do all the stuff, but you're not, it's not. I try to tell people, it's like, imagine planting a seed in the ground and then coming by with a rake every day and raking it up. Like, you just wouldn't do that. Let it do its job. Let it grab a hold, let it grow, let it get strong, and then start doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's simple nature. And I don't understand why people can't do it.
I mean, I get it in some ways, but also, I think, America, we want everything yesterday, and just, the idea that you're going to regrow especially with a bad injury, you're going to regrow a whole bunch of cartilage in a month,
exactly.
You're not a superhero now.
Well, this is a question I get, maybe you can answer it. Because people seem to think, they're like, oh, you got stem cells, how long does that last?
Yeah.
Like a PRP or something, right? And I try to explain to them, you're just regrowing, and it'll last as long as you don't injure it again.
That's exactly right.
Right? Like, it's not like a treatment, it's a solution, right? I guess, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but there seems to be a disconnect from people understanding that.
In most cases, you're regrowing the tissue. Now, when that tissue grows, as I always say, it grows like a baby's tissue. It's soft, right? So would you have a 3-month-old baby be doing what you're doing? Mm-hmm. And so it takes time for the tissue to grow, and then it needs to mature and to strengthen. The idea that in 2 weeks, your tendon is brand new grown tendon piece is going to be as strong as your 20, 30, 40-year-old tendon. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just, and so it's just really, it's like, how long do you want it to last?
Yeah.
Is the question. It's just like the tires on your car. How long are they going to last? Well, if you're going to, lock the front and do burnouts, not that long,
Yeah.
But you're going to drive around just like a normal person. You'll get your 40, 56,000 miles out of them.
Because what is the
the stem cells around? And after that, most people aren't really ready at 2 weeks, but about a month and a half is when we suggest that people start doing some physical therapy and then see how you feel from there.
When I got the stem cells originally, it was after COVID, but there was still, in the stunt world, not a lot of work going on. So I wasn't being busy. Right. So I took 4 months before I did anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like I said, I laid around for one, but I didn't ride my bike. I didn't go for a run. I didn't, I missed workouts now for about 8 years. So it wasn't like I was missing out on anything. But, I truly believe that if you can push it as long as you can to not do anything, that's what you should do.
Well, yeah, I think not doing nothing isn't you don't just want the person laying on, but nothing that could re-injure.
Yes, I wasn't doing anything that could cause inflammation.
You could be working out at the gym and stuff, but not going crazy.
I was living my regular everyday life.
I had a guy, Matt, he started, went back into the gym, started doing CrossFit box jumps. I'm like, you don't think that's putting pressure on your disc, jumping up and down off a 2-foot box, buddy, with all your weight?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see what the problem is. Just don't do it. It's not that hard.
No.
Especially for me, it's what's my option? Going back to what it was, because that ain't an option.
I think that's so for me too, man. I tried everything, so it had to work. And I think being in that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think now we do more disc injections than anywhere in the world. We do.
Really?
Normally we're backed up at 15 a week. That's the max I can do. And we're booked almost every week at max. And, sometimes I see people that are getting disc injections and I'm like, you sure? I'm looking at you sitting in that chair. You don't look like you're in much pain, are you sure? Let's inject around the discs and see how that goes, or something cause it's you're putting stem cells in the disc. There's always a risk of infection. There's all, it's a procedure, but even more so on the back end, people tend to mess those up. If you start feeling good, the nerve pain's gone, blah, blah, blah. And then you go do something stupid like jump up and down on the box in CrossFit and hurt yourself. And so I think people like us that were at severe levels of pain where it was destroyed quality of life, we're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right.
My fear of going back is way greater than my fear of like not getting some sort of feeling from working out and doing whatever I'm doing. That was probably more of it. I can't go back to what it was. I won't go back.
Yeah.
So now I will do whatever it takes to not go back. And whether that means just change how I do things, then I got to change how I do things.
No, I think it's those people that aren't, luckily for them, they're not at that point, might not be as serious about it,
I think that's
so.
Yeah. It's hard for people to understand though.
Yeah.
People, I think like regular people know what pain is. And I can tell when someone calls me and I talk to them, what kind of pain they're in.
Sure.
You can tell because they're like, oh yeah, my back hurts. And then like, you can hear it. You're like, oh no, this is, and you're like, oh, you need to change your life, because this is, otherwise you're just, it's hard for people to, when I tell people like I was in pain, like, yeah, I get it. You're in pain. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you don't know because you've never been in that pain.
Right.
The way I couldn't understand someone who was in a debilitating pain, or when someone says, oh, I was thinking about really dark thoughts. You're like, come on. You're like, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it because you can't. Because the option of living this way is no option.
It's if you don't know, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just keep your,
especially the industry, that like, God, just the whole stunt world, freestyle, motocross, like all like, Jesus, some of these,
all these guys are going to, I think everyone in that industry will get this at some point. Once whether it's easier or more information or they've accepted it. But I think a lot of them need to get it and could have a better life sooner.
Yeah.
But it's all coming. Like I said, I think we just happened to grow up in an era of this time when athletes were beating the piss out of themselves, with no options of anything. Your option was, well, get it replaced or just live with it.
Right.
Like I was looking at probably 2 hips, 2 knees, and disc replacement in the next 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
And now I don't think I need any.
That's awesome.
Which is insane.
It is. That's great, man.
And it's hard for people who need some of these things and don't believe in the stem cells to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To hear, they don't want to hear it, some of them.
It happens. My dad got his knee replaced. I'm like, hey, what do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose?
You can get the stem cells for free. You know what I mean? Like, but I talked to my orthopedic and he said they won't work on me. And I'm like, okay, how many MRIs does he want to see it works? Does he want to see 10, 50, 100? Because I got them. I'll send them all to him. But, as orthopedic, no, not going to work for you. Not an option for you. Let's saw that thing out.
Without trying to say like American doctors don't know what they're doing, because that's not what I'm saying. How do you say this without it sounding like a complete...
They're doing the best they can with the tools they have.
And they're being taught a way. They've been taught, but there are new ways and there are new things. And my thought was, if I'm going to need new knees, I might as well try this, because once I get those new knees, there's nothing. I'm stuck with whatever I got.
Yeah.
Right? Like this, if it doesn't work, then I could still get the knee. Still get the replacement, which is...
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose? You got none to lose.
Yeah.
Especially in your knees. You know what I mean?
It's your body.
You got none to lose. Yeah. If it sucks, then
even if you get absolutely nothing from it, you spend 20, 30 grand, like you try.
Yeah. But I have other friends who get their knees done. Like I have a friend who got both knees done. One's fine. The other one, he got drained every day.
Whoa.
For months. He just hasn't had that great of results on one knee. You know what I mean? And so you're like, but nothing you can do about it. That's just, he just stuck with that now.
Wow.
So it's sad.
Yeah.
And it's just because they didn't have the information or didn't want to, the information he was being told by his doctor was uninformed.
Right.
As much as it could have been.
Yeah. You can't blame the doctors too, like think about how many people just go to work and just at the end of the day, go play golf, do whatever they're going to do. You know, they'd have to really be looking outside the box to do research.
Yeah.
And a lot of doctors, if they start offering things that are, you know, out of the norm or outside of the package they work with the insurance companies, they could get kicked out of network. They got bills, kids, families, you know, so.
It's so crazy that the American medical system is built on that instead of what can we do to help you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's not that crazy, but yeah, it's just,
I mean,
it's just veered so far. Yeah. It has a lot of momentum, like monetary momentum behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cancer's
even worse.
Yeah. What's going on with cancer?
The number of patients, you know, I don't know the official percentage, but the number of patients that are completely misdiagnosed with type of cancer and things like that is, that's one of the reasons we've gotten so hardcore into, we're building probably the most advanced testing lab over there. I'll give you a tour upstairs when we get back. Because, you know, there's all kinds of new technologies in genetic sequencing and testing and stuff, but it's not readily available. Your insurance won't pay for it. The doctors can't use it yet. And, you know, we had some scientists that were talking to us about like, hey, you know, I don't know what the number is. Google could tell you, but it'll shock you the percentage of people that the type of cancer they have is just completely misdiagnosed. You're treating the entire wrong thing.
That's insane.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing too. People always, big pharma gets a bad rap, and in some ways they deserve it. But also, like when I hear, oh, big pharma's never going to let you bring stem cells to America, I was like, well, that's not true. You know, big pharma wants to sell every drug they can. Why would they be blocking stuff? You know, they want to buy it and sell it. Big insurance, on the other hand, controls more of the treatment that you get than big pharma does. Whatever network you're in for your insurance and whatever menu of from what I understand, there's pretty specific guardrails and guidelines depending on what box of you're diagnosed with, which ones they can check off and give you.
Wow. I didn't think about that.
You know, so.
But that's 100% correct.
And we get people that get mad at us. They get mad and say, well, why don't you guys take insurance? And we say, why does insurance take us? You know, like I would gladly take everyone's insurance. You think I'm refusing it?
Yeah, you're refusing someone's money?
I'm refusing it? No. Yeah. You need to call your insurance company, one, find out, do they cover out-of-country treatments? You know, you might be shocked to find out if you're on vacation, your ass out of luck, you know. And, you know, two, do they cover stem cells or regenerative medicine? And so we go find out those answers. If they're both yes, then we can work with you. But it's not my idea to not take insurance. You know, it's them not allowing.
Yeah.
So it's weird. You see people like on my Instagram and then like, if you really cared about people, you would take insurance. Call your insurance company, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not turning money down.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, will we love to help everybody and their insurance pays for it? Yes. Why do you think we're doing this data collection? Why do you think we're bringing all these patients back, spending money out of our pocket to get the data, to publish the data so we can start moving through the FDA process? Because I don't want people's insurance to cover it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I could save a lot of money. There's 25 of you guys back this week. Each one of you guys is getting 30 million stem cells, about 10, 12 grand in stem cells. And I'm paying for 3 to 5 MRIs, $300 a piece on every single person. Like, that adds up.
Yeah. That's all on you guys. Just for the data. Just so you have the data.
Because the data is that important. Yeah.
That's really cool that you guys do that.
It's really, and you know, it gets, I mean, you get to talk to people who have great results, and you also get to, you know, try to help and fix the people who, you know, aren't where they want to be. Whether that's like, hey, let's talk about the physical therapy you didn't do, or, you know, you can get an MRI. MRI is not exact science, right? Sometimes somebody still has pain and their MRI shows a lot of growth. And sometimes when they see that growth, all of a sudden they're not in as much pain, you know?
Yeah.
But it gives them, you know, something to work. Other times people are completely out of pain. Like my S1L5, where I had all that damage, where my disc ruptured. You know, I haven't done an MRI in years, but you know, a year afterwards, when I injected it, neither the 90-day nor the 12 months showed noticeable visual growth on the MRI.
But the pain was gone.
Zero pain a month and a half out. So do I care? Like, I'm like, I don't care what the MRI. If I never got another MRI, it wouldn't matter to me. But you know, with that 30 million stem cells, it gives us a chance at no extra cost to the patient to give it a little boost if we need to. Yeah. Or frequently, a lot of people are feeling great. You know, your right arm's been your bad arm. And now 6 months later, you're like, you know, I never really realized it, but my left shoulder kind of hurts too. Okay, let's hit that one.
That was what happened to me. That one too. My back was, I mean, I knew my neck was bad, but my back was so bad that I never felt my neck.
Yeah.
And then when I got my back, I was like, my neck is going off my neck.
Yeah. And
that's why I came down and got my neck done.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was starting to not be able to sleep because of my neck, but it was never an issue before because I never felt it.
Yeah. It's a big added benefit that we're just 20 minutes over the border.
People always ask me, like, because I used to think that one of your biggest obstacles was Tijuana.
Yeah.
Just the word.
Right.
Because America's made such a media frenzy about that word. And people are like, why did you choose CPI? Because I looked at all of them. I looked at the ones in Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica. And the reason I chose CPI was I liked the program you guys put together, this week-long program of just, you know, getting your body healthy, all the NAD and the cocktails and the food and the hyperbaric. And then the other one was, it is only 20 minutes over the border. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know many people that got it done. So I was like, if something goes wrong, I could be in San Diego.
Yeah.
In America, American soil.
Right.
And that was my...
You could literally walk to the border wall.
Yeah.
You could literally...
I mean, you could see it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was my biggest choice. And then once I came down, and now I've had a bunch of friends that have gone to Panama and Colombia and Costa Rica. I've been all those spots. And this, I try to tell people, because other people talk about it. Everyone talks, all of it.
Of course. Yeah.
And so theirs seemed more of like a medical procedure, a hospital room, procedure, hospital, you know, back and forth.
Right.
Where this one feels a little bit more of like I don't want to say retreat, but a little bit more of you feel like you feel better about it. I don't feel like I'm going in for a medical procedure. I feel like I'm going there and I'm gonna get all this healthy stuff done, and it's gonna be a good environment. And it's like I hate to use the word vibe, but you know what I mean? There's like a vibe in there that you're like, everyone's in that room to heal together.
Yep. And
we're talking about what's going on, and you can share notes, and which I think is super important. And to me, from what I understand with the other ones, CPI seems like they've figured out a version of this that is really pleasant to be here for the week, you know?
Well, you know, we had to because of cancer, you know. Colombia, Panama, all these other places, they get great results too. They got really good people there, you know. But we carried over a lot of what we had to create for cancer. So it's so important, the headspace of a dying cancer patient if they're going to live. And so we had to really create an environment where you didn't, you know, cancer patient might be in the hospital for 3 months, 4 months. Who wants to be in what feels like a prison, a hospital room for 4 months?
Yeah.
So how do you create an energy? How do you create a vibe where it's more like summer camp? You know?
Yeah.
Well, you're all on the bus together and you get to know the other patients and you do activities together and we all go out to dinner together and you kind of, you know, you make friends, you get these things
in front of a window.
And you in a room with 30 other people that are in pain, that are on the same path as you, it just does something.
Yeah.
You know, but then also you got 20, 30 people coming back a week, almost everybody, you know, I have week after week where it's 100% of the return patients, everybody's happy. Does it happen every week? No. Does it work for everybody? No. But it works more than we ever expected it to. Having the new guy with the old guy helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I talk to everyone.
I know you do.
And I bet you I've talked to I've been down here. I've talked to a couple hundred people, but probably 80 to 100 people where I've really talked to them. And I've met one person who said they didn't have results enough where they felt like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One person. Now, I think about all the procedures my friends have had, just actual surgeries, like it's way more where you're like, nothing changed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or even worse.
It's worse. Yeah. That's my biggest scare thing. People are always like, well, I'm going to get back surgery or I'm going to cut down. I'm like, I have friends, a lot of friends who have back surgery. Although their problem may have changed, whether it was a lateral move or, up or down, their back is never the same.
Oh yeah, the back is the worst.
It's never the same. I mean, I was nervous getting my back done, but clearly the best choice I ever made in my life.
People say, oh, it's so expensive. And I think about the fact that I had the best Anthem Blue Shield insurance you could buy. And by the time I was done with my back surgery, my physical therapy and everything, my out-of-pocket cost was $24,000.
Same.
Exact same price.
And you went through a nightmare.
2 years, 8 months laying flat on my back.
Yeah.
People having to help me up off the toilet. I was so lucky I had a nice neighbor. Some days she was nice, man. Can you come down? She had a key to my place. Help me out. I can't get up,
Wow.
Like, listen, when you've been eating opiates for a long time and you can finally take a number 2, you got a courtesy flush a couple times before you call the neighbor, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't want to punish them. You leave the door open intentionally, fan on every couple. You're courtesy flushing that thing down.
Sitting there for an hour,
glading it up, Man, I fell off the toilet a couple times. I couldn't get up. Trying to not have to bother somebody. You want to be independent and stuff.
Oh, dude, so many times.
You figure out on the couch how to roll onto your stomach and then slide your back end down. And then you sit on your knees and then you... Oh my God! If I'd known I was spending this much money.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mean this is the only path for me now. So until you guys come up with something else,
we're working on it.
But this is like for me. Anytime someone asks, I just tell them I'm pretty straightforward. Where I'm just like, look, it doesn't work for everybody, or you have varying results. You could have 2 knees, one get 10% better, one get 50% better. It's a gamble, just like you would gamble if you got any surgery, but it's a gamble that's having results that people can't explain, So
and it's a gamble that if you take this one, you can always go do the surgery, especially on the back. You could go do the surgery. If they fuse it or something else, they put an artificial disc in, then this option is no longer.
Or even worse, they have a plan going in, and while you're asleep, they make a new plan.
Yeah.
I've had friends that come in and go, oh, we planned this, and they got in there, and they saw like this, so we had to do this. You're like, well, now what? Now you didn't even get a choice in your, So crazy. I lived with pain for so long, and now I don't even remember really what it is. I know what it is in my head, but I can't feel it anymore.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. You always know what it is in your head, but you don't. I don't really know what the pain is. I just know my mindset of how I felt about life, and now I don't think about it at all. I do not think.
You
about
had a couple of those times where you thought you might have screwed it up, man. Because I have
that time I worked. I'm like, oh God, and then I had something going on. What I do have an issue with is which we're actually taking care of here is I'm getting my knees done, but my obliques are really tight. And I don't know if it's because I spent a lot of time driving, because I drive 50, 60,000 miles a year. They're really tight. And so my back started hurt. I'm getting my obliques injected here.
Interesting. That's a new one.
Just into the muscle.
Yeah. Huh.
They did that to something on my back. I have like one spot on my back that's just off from my spine that is a muscle that just can't, it's never better. And last time I was here, we injected that muscle and it got exponentially better. I threw my back out 0 times where I was doing it like once every couple months, in that one spot. So,
well, just to be clear, you should tell people what you do, all these crazy shit. Throw this shit out so they're not like, oh, he got his back done, but he throws it out once a month. Yeah,
no,
listen to this.
Yeah. No. I'm a stuntman. That's what I do for a living. But I was also and still participating. I was a professional BMX bike rider, and so I'm always doing riding skate parks and bikes, and I'm snowboarding and I'm skydiving, and I'm pretty active.
Pretty active.
The
average person. Active is pretty.
I say pretty active because compared to what I used to be, and that's just a matter of getting old. You know what I mean? And not wanting to get hurt, so I could still do my job as a stuntman.
Shout out your Instagram so someone can go look and see what pretty active means.
It's at Mike Escamilla. It's right here across the bottom. And now I found a space where I can still be pretty active in a different way than I was. But you're probably right. It's probably more active than most 47-year-olds.
Probably nowadays most 25-year-olds.
I mean,
except for the thumbs. Your thumbs probably aren't.
You're probably gonna have a lot of stem cells coming in.
And shout out to Bronco for letting you go all over the world and all over the U.S. anyways, and get hurt yourself or try to.
This part of what I learned during COVID and being injured is that my self-worth is directly related to whatever project I was doing, and after the stem cells, I became a Bronco ambassador, and man, this has made life so good because it's an outdoor program. So it just requires me to get outdoors. So at least one weekend a month or more, I'm out, run around. Like I put 40,000 miles on the Bronco last year, over 40,000. And it's all just, those are dirt miles, on dirt roads, and it's been great. It's the best thing.
The videos, they gotta love you, bro, because those videos that you make are so good.
I appreciate that.
They're good.
I mean, I think they're happy.
I would hope so.
I'm happy.
I mean, I don't know who else they got for ambassadors, but I put a lot of work. They're pro. You could tell.
Yeah, I put a lot of work.
The drone and the shots, and you could tell it's not just like let me take some stuff and throw it together.
It's thought out. I think I'm a great candidate for it because I'm actually I'm not that there's anything wrong with being the weekend warrior, but and I always feel like a weekend warrior compared to guys who are doing gnarly stuff. But it's only because being an athlete for so long, I know what an elite level is, so when someone says you're an elite level, I'm like even now when people say, you're the best, you're so good at bike riding. I'm like, yeah, I'm the best guy,
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I know what a professional is, But yeah, I'm out, I'm having fun. I'm pushing the limits of the vehicle and where we're going and for me. So it's good. It's good. I can't complain. Stoked.
It looks fun. It looks good.
Let's go sometime. Let's go get a day out somewhere.
Let's go.
We'll
find a lake bed. I'll come land over there.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. We'll
shoot some shots out the plane.
Oh my God, that'd be great. Yeah.
I got the little outdoor GoPro mounts too, where you control it from your phone.
No way.
But I don't use GoPro anymore. I use Insta360. It's way better.
I want to do one where I take the roof off the Broncos because you can take the roofs off. I don't want to skydive and then land in the back of it.
That sounds like a great way to get hurt. I love it.
So I'll be right back here.
Yeah.
So it's just great. It's just great. It's like job security for you.
Yeah, it is.
It's good. Every time you hear I'm going to do something, you're like, yeah, okay, I'll see you.
Yeah, see you next week.
See you next week, buddy.
Right on. That sounds awesome. Well, let's get you back to treatment this week, man. Mike, thanks for coming down. Always good to see you. And let's find that lake bed.
Thanks for everything. I really appreciate it.